Hello everyone, this is your Abhijit sir, and we have a very special guest with us this evening. One of my students from my first batch way back in 2006, if I remember well. Himangshu, good morning. You are in Seattle, so it's good morning for you.
Yeah, good evening, good evening.
Okay, so for us it's good evening. For you it's good morning, and it's such a pleasure to have you on this platform with us. And to everyone who is watching us, this is Himangshu Ranjan Borah, and like I said, he was a student of one of our first batches in 2000, way back in 2006, and when I first started teaching. Now he's working at Amazon headquarters in Seattle, Washington. Did his MS in computer science. Of course, he'll tell you more about himself. Just a short intro. He did his MS in computer science from North Carolina University, and he hails from a very nearby place, Mangaldoi, as we all know. So you can say he's one of us. Amar Okomore Khontan. Now he is well settled in one of the, I would say, one of the biggest companies of the world, in one of the best places in the world. So welcome once again, Himanshu, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for me.
Yeah. So Himanshu, tell us about, your life right now. What's a typical day in your life like?
Typical day in my life right now changed since COVID. But yeah, I think it's a mix of a lot of things, and it's working from home now, so mostly working on different stuff. My role has also evolved over time. I at Amazon for almost 4 or 5 years now. I think almost 5 years. I'll be finishing 5 years in next February. So yeah, it's a mix of a lot of things, doing a lot of engineering work and doing a lot of science work and some of the managerial stuff as well. So it's a mix of all of those
What
things.
other than work?
Other than works,
How's life?
I have a lot of different keep changing. So the thing is, my hobbies keep changing. So I don't know if you remember, I used to be huge in music, just like you.
Yes,
For
yes, I remember.
when
Yeah.
when I was in college, and it went for like I don't know 10 years, I guess. I played a lot of guitar and all those kind of stuff. I suddenly lost interest in that,
Then you
sadly.
shifted to photography, I
Whatever.
suppose.
Yeah, now I'm shifting to somehow photography and videography a little bit. Yeah, it's just a hobby,
Okay.
nothing serious. But yeah, I just try to enjoy everything. And I guess, yeah,
That's
that's kind of
that's
a part
that's
of
that's
life.
wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, so Himanshu, a lot of students are watching us, a lot of 13, 14, 15, 16, 18 year olds
Right.
who mostly are in Northeast right now, mostly in Assam maybe, and a lot of people who still think that America is too far, and place in a world renowned organization is a little too big to dream of. People,
Right.
People back here a little scared to dream big, so because they think that they presume that they are at a geographical disadvantage already. They
Right.
think that they start behind the line. So I would want you to speak a little bit at length about your journey from Assam to Seattle, wherever you are right now, in whatever position you are in right now. I would want you
Right.
to speak at length about your journey.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a long journey. I don't normally think of the whole thing in one. I guess today I'm doing that. Yeah, it's been a lot of things over the time. I think one thing that has kind of was constant over the years is some of those things we definitely got from concept, and it's not concept that you maybe sees now. It's a very different experience probably now, but back then we are kind of a family, and I think a lot of the values that I think I follow still now was instilled back then, and that's a wonderful thing, I think. And I'm still very close to Gautam Shah and you and everybody who was with us in the beginning. So I think the one thing that has been constant throughout the time before dive deep into whatever I have done is just keep trying. I think that's the main way. Uh, Dreaming big and all those kind of things, that sounds good, but the problem is not everybody can actually do it, and everybody's dreams could be different. And it's not only about US, right? There are so many other places. I mean, in Israel, like whatever you want. When
True,
there's
true
so
that.
many examples, Avijay Datta is, I think, the best example that you can see. So no, I
Yeah.
actually give your example a lot to people who when they talk about success and stuff like that and getting to places where they want to get it. It's not about just getting to US. I mean, it was my decision, my life, but you can choose any place or you can choose anything that you want to do. But I think the best thing is you just need to do it. That's the thing I think. Uh, just dream it and think that you can probably do it. You will probably fail. That's probably fine. And I have failed a lot of times. Abhijit probably knows more than that. And right, so I think that's the constant thing that I have had over the years. I just kept trying, and you just need to do it. There's a vast majority of people who just don't do things, and that's I think the biggest failure of everything. And you just need to just do it. Think about something and do that. Like, don't think about what's going to happen. Just do it. That's the difference between me and doing it is the biggest thing that has helped me over the years. Yeah, for me, I mean, my story is pretty straightforward. It's nothing extra special or anything. I went to school in my old town, Mangaldoi, like you said, and then I moved to Guwahati in Cotton College. I went there for my 11 and 12. Then I took one for my preparations for JE and IEEE, and yeah, I wrote for both. And then I was very keen to the field of interest that I wanted, rather than actually getting a good school or a good university or a good college. And that's how I ended up in computer science and IT researcher. And I mean, back then there were like a lot of voices telling me you should do this, you should do that, you should like take some branch in whatever good college that you get. And that was one thing that has been constant with me. I was very focused on what I wanted. And computer science, I was very focused on either computer science or electronics, something like that. So ended up on computer science, and yeah, that has just worked out pretty well for me. I found my niche and my interest in that field. It's very dear to me, and it was already dear to me when I started, but as I went along, the computer science kind of became part of me, and I became very interested in machine learning, which is a of computer science. I don't know how, some of you might already know. It's related to AI and data science and stuff like that. So I started my research when I was in undergrad. Did some publications and stuff like that back in 2008, 2009. That's how when I first got introduced to the field. And yeah, finished my undergrad in 2012 and started with Samsung in Bangalore and worked there for 3 years. In Samsung, I mostly worked for the Galaxy S10 phones, their browser specifically. And feature-wise, I worked on fingerprint recognition and facial recognition. Those are the main things that I worked on. And they did a lot of machine learning related science work also in there. Then after that, I was like, I need to get a little bit more of the juice. And yeah, I went on a trip to the US for one of our on-site projects in 2013. I think that's when I met a few people and met some professors and stuff like that. And I was very motivated the way they work, and that was kind of my first thing. It was never for me like I have to go to the US and stuff like that. That's how I got motivated. I went to Seattle because Samsung has their offices in Bellevue, which is a nearby town. So that's where I lived in 2013. So yeah, when I went back to India, I was like, yeah, I should probably try that once. Then the template it wrote, a lot of my seniors helped me a lot. It's for specifically for the Northeast area to get into something like this, because what I've seen over the years, like other places in India, like South India or maybe Mumbai, they have a very good support system for getting to places where people want to get, not necessarily only in the US, right? But top business schools in Singapore, Germany, places like they have very good support system. People have good support. Their families are supportive, right? And their whole system is like kind of built around that. And in Northeast India, it's not there quite, at least. And my college, at least, and at least we had a lot of seniors who kind of took that route very painstakingly, but still took it, and they were kind of my main motivation and main help. So yeah, they helped a lot. Went to the process. I'm not gonna go into the details of the whole process. It's very, very detailed, but yeah, we went to the process in 2015, got accepted to a few colleges, and was one of them, which had a program for machine learning and data. That's where I researched and in during my master's also. So yeah, and started with that. Finished my master's in 2017, early 2017, 2016 December. And yeah, then I started with Amazon in one of the teams that does data processing. I can't talk much about the internal details of my team because I was working in a confidential project last 4 years. I just recently switched to a different team, which I can talk about. We'll talk about that a little bit. So yeah, we're working on project science works. I'm actually currently changing to a science role altogether very shortly. So yeah, did a lot of research work and engineering work, and some of the biggest data streams. And yeah, I probably don't need to explain how big the Amazon's data is, and most of the struggles and engineering challenges that we had over the last 4 years were the data. So yeah, that's pretty much my journey so far. And I recently team called Amazon Influencer Program, which is very similar to what Facebook or Instagram or YouTube does. It's the Amazon's version of it. I'm not sure how much we have presence in India, but it's a pretty big thing here. It's like the whole associate program, right? Where you say people, hey, click the
Yeah,
link in the
I've seen that.
description
I've
below and
seen
stuff
that.
like that.
Yes.
So yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
Where
associates
where
program, and
influencers
then
are recommending products.
right, right. Yeah, that's the team I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it was like a sister team to my org, and then I moved there. There's some interesting stuff going on. So yeah, that's pretty much money so far, I guess, in a nutshell.
Very, very nice, very nice. One thing I noticed while you said is that I would like all our viewers to notice this and ponder about it. Is that Himanshu was working in Samsung, and for a lot of us, that would be it. That would be like, yeah, I've done it and I'm settled. And then you did your masters after you were started to work with Samsung, right? You took an
Right,
academic break in between your working life. So like you
right.
said, just keep looking, just keep trying. So even when you are in a job
Yeah,
which
yeah,
you at the moment might
right.
think, yeah, is good enough, yeah,
Yeah,
so
academic
stress
breaks
a
are
little bit on that.
yeah, I think the like Bill Gates says, right? He's most scared about the day when he'll stop learning, and I think it's the same thing. Uh, Going to school and having to get grades and stuff like that. It's at least no longer for me. It was probably the same thing for me also back in my 10th grade or something like, metric exam and all those kind of things. But over the years, at least I have evolved to understand that the academics, the meaning of academics is not really getting grades, right? And it's even well understood in here as India. So, and it's about like learning things, right? It doesn't really have to be associated with some sort of exam or anything. It's a learning opportunity, and I think Samsung, I was very happy with whatever I was doing, and when I looked for it, I didn't really look for it, but when I saw like other stuff happening, then I naturally got curious towards it. It's like anything else. Like say for example, if you see a new game, you get interested in it, right? Like what is this game? I want to check it out. It's like that. I mean, if you see a new field, and if you really care about, you'll say I care about computer science and machine learning so much, and if I see something new happening, I naturally get drawn towards it, right? That's how I changed my recent team also. I saw something which was very interesting. There's no harm in trying. Like I said, right? There's a huge difference between people who try and don't try. There is no such thing as bright students or bright people or dumb people.
True.
Probably great enough to. But the thing is that single that single leap that you need to take to actually do something is the biggest difference that I've seen. Like for very small things, like for example, if you have like a form to fill up, very dreadly form to fill up that you want to fill up, but you're just so shy on starting on it because it's just so huge. That makes all the difference. If you start it and then it becomes easier. It's the same thing with everyone. Like I have so many examples that I have in my life. For example, like stock market investments or crypto and all those kind of things. Like there's such a huge friction at the beginning that we don't want to get to because it's a lot of trouble, and it at least looks like it's a lot of trouble. But if you take that leap of doing it, then I think it becomes easier, and that has helped me a lot over
So
the
to
years.
overcome the initial resistance,
Yeah, I think
to overcome the inertia, right?
that's the reaction temperature or something in thermodynamics, right? Like you have to
Yes,
get
yes, yes.
to a certain reaction to certain temperature
Ignition,
to
ignition temperature. Yeah,
ignition temperature or whatever. Yeah, I think that's very
yeah,
important.
yeah.
It's a little unsettling. It's very unsettling, not little. I think, and that's the everything is first time in life. So I guess once you can get past that, everything becomes very easy, and a lot of free gift
Okay,
comes
so
with that.
Himanshu, to just to cater to our audience, I will be using a little bit of Assamese. You can, of
Yeah,
course, answer back in English. Uh, so,
yeah,
আমি students বোৰক সদায় বুজাও যে go for your interest, go for your interest, যোনটো বস্তু ভাল পোৱা সেইটোৰ ফালে যোৱা। এণ্ড দেন ষ্টুডেণ্টছে কয় যে ছাৰ ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰিং মোৰ ইণ্টাৰেষ্ট হয়, বাট মই তিনিটাৰ ভিতৰত এটা ছাবজেক্টহে ভাল পাওঁ, বাকীকেইটা ছাবজেক্ট is kamur ba is a pain, right? So can you relate it with your professional life that you saw something, got interested in it, but some parts of it are still a pain, but that's the price you pay to pursue your interest? Not everything will always be rosy. So can you
right,
elaborate that a little bit?
right. মই বাৰু অসমীয়া কম একো নাই মোৰ yeah,
Okay,
well,
great, that's great.
so কথাটো হ'ল কি কথাটো হৈছে কি yeah, you're right. চব বস্তুতে তো টান বস্তু থাকেই of course, right? And প্ৰব্লেমটো হৈছে কি লাইফত চব বস্তু it's not about the life, the whole world is kind of এটা চিষ্টেমত বনোৱা আছে, right? এইটো এনেকুৱা নহয় যে যোনে যি মন তাকে কৰি
It's a
এইটো
package
পচিবল
deal.
নহয়। It's a package deal, and বস্তুবোৰ চিষ্টেম বনোৱা আছে। চাপোজ ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি এটা আছে বা আপোনাৰ তোমাৰ হেৰি এটা এখন কলেজ আছে চাপোজ, ত কলেজখনে তোমাৰ চিষ্টেম এটা বনাই ৰাখিব লাগিব যে এইটো মাৰ্কছত ইমান পালে তুমি ইমানত এন্ট্ৰি কৰিবা। এইটো it's not always great. Sometimes it feels like a lot of diplomacy and bureaucracy and stuff like that. Even যে ইমান প্ৰচেছেছ আছে, চাপোজ প্ৰমোচনৰ কাৰণে ইমান প্ৰচেছেছ, why do you have to do so many things? ইঞ্জিনিয়াৰিং পঢ়ি থাকোঁতে এনেকুৱা আছিল, হিউমেনিটিজ পঢ়িব লগা হৈছিলে, বা চাপোজ মেকানিকেলৰ কিছুমান চাবজেক্ট পঢ়িব লগা হৈছিলে, ৰাইট?
Yes.
এনেকুৱা কিছুমান বস্তু পঢ়িব লাগিছিলে কম্পিউটাৰ চাইন্সৰ লগত একদম কানেকশ্যন নাই। কিন্তু এই চিষ্টেমবোৰ যে বনাই, মই কোৱা নাই যে 100% তোমাৰ চিষ্টেমবোৰ হেৰি হয়, মানে কি ক'ম এইটো প্ৰপাৰ
Perfect
হয়,
hoy.
কি পাৰফেক্ট হয়, কিন্তু কথাটো হৈছে কি it's actually it's working first of all, and বহুত মানুহে তাতে থট দি কেনে বস্তুটো বনাইছে, at least more than 50% people are not dumb, right? So যিবোৰ মানুহে বনাইছে যে চিষ্টেমটো কাম কৰি আছে, so at least a little level of faith মানে আমি ৰাখিব লাগিব চিষ্টেমটোৰ পৰা, তেতিয়া মানে আমাৰ লাইফত বস্তুবোৰ এচিভ কৰিবলৈ সুবিধা হয়। কাৰণ চাপোজ ফিজিক্স ভাল পোৱা তুমি, ফিজিক্সৰ লগত তোমাৰ মেথছ বা কেমিষ্ট্ৰি আপ টু চাৰ্টেন এক্সটেণ্ট আহিবই, সেইটো উপায় নাই। আৰু যেতিয়া প্ৰব্লেম তুমি লাইফৰ প্ৰব্লেম যেতিয়া চল্ভ কৰিবা তোমালোকে যে just loving physics is not a physics expert, right? You have to know a
True.
lot of things. Like suppose যিবোৰ মানুহে তোমাৰ ষ্টাৰ্টআপত কাম কৰে বা কোনোবাই নিজৰ কোম্পানী খুলিছে, I think Abhijit will know more than anyone. You have to know a lot of things. You are the manager, you are the marketing director, you are the science expert, you are the engineering expert, you are the CTO, CFO. So
You are the logistic
getting a
manager as well.
yeah, exactly. Getting you have to know a lot of things, and most of the things are not even taught in school, and some of the things you have to get knowledge to get, and at that point I think people really understand what's the meaning of those knowledge. And it's very surprising that some of those things actually came along the way when you were studying, but you just didn't pay attention to it, and now when you need it, you need to get on with it. So I think yeah, just be focused on whatever you're interested in, but there will be a lot of other auxiliary that you have to learn along the way, which is most of the things are useful and some may not be useful, but you still have to do it because of the point that I said earlier, because the whole world is kind of built around the system. So it's not possible to not have a system and do something. And yeah, if you want to do something, then you'll definitely have to go through the system. It's like, getting a copyright
হিমাংশুৱে
or
বহুত টেকনিকেলি বুজায়, মই চিম্পল ৱৰ্ডছত কওঁ যে লাইফ ইজ আ buffet dinner, not an a la carte menu where
right.
you cannot pick everything. You pick two things and three more things will come in the package. They have hidden benefits, might be
Yeah,
bitter and salty right now,
right,
but will have hidden benefits. And to bring out the best in you, those things are needed later on.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
even
Himanshu,
if like there might, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
no, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was saying like there might be like a 5% that's not in and they're never gonna be useful. You can't leave out the 5% and progress, because you need that kind of to get the official recognition. So I think
And tell the guys and girls about how to handle failure, because that is one of the major issues. আটাইতকৈ ডাঙৰ সমস্যা বুলিয়ে ক'ম মই, যে স্কুলত ফাৰ্ষ্ট হৈছিলে, নিজৰ নিজৰ ইণ্ডিভিজুৱেল স্কুলত চবেই ফাৰ্ষ্ট হয়, আমাৰ ইয়াত যিমান ষ্টুডেণ্টছ আহে, অল আৰ গুড ষ্টুডেণ্টছ ইন দেয়াৰ অ'ন জোনছ, এণ্ড ফাৰ্ষ্ট হোৱা ছোৱালীজনী আহি পেলাই ফাৰ্ষ্ট বেঞ্চত বহে, এণ্ড ফাৰ্ষ্ট ডে চাই যে তাইতকৈ সোনকালে আনচাৰ বেলেগে দি আছে, who has come from a not so popular school and ইমান বেছি পাৰ্চেন্টেজো পোৱা নাই, মইতো মেট্ৰিকত ষ্টেণ্ড কৰি আহিছো. বাই দ্য ৱে, টু অল দ্য ভিউৱাৰ্ছ, হিমাংশুৱে মেট্ৰিকত ষ্টেণ্ড কৰিছিলে। ৰাইট, চ' এনেকুৱা বহুত বাৰ হৈছে, ইভেন
একো
হিমাংশু, ইট
লাভ
has
নাই। হায়াৰ ছেকেণ্ডেৰীটো ষ্টেণ্ড কৰিছো মই, ফৰ দ্য ৰেকৰ্ডছ, বাট একো লাভ
okay,
নাই।
yes, for the records. So Himanshu, it has happened to you. I mean, you won't mind me saying, I know you won't mind me saying ki classত যেতিয়া তুমি বহিছা, তুমি ষ্টেণ্ড কৰি আহিছা আৰু বহুত ষ্টুডেণ্টে তোমাতকে বহুত কম পাৰ্চেন্টেজ মেট্ৰিক হায়াৰ ছেকেণ্ডেৰীত পাই আহিছে, and you have seen them grasping faster than you, getting it faster than you, solving it faster than you,
Yeah,
right?
I still see
But
that.
you did not lose your, yeah, you did not lose sleep over it, and did not
Right.
think ki this is not my ball game. বাট এই বস্তুটো আমাৰ ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীবোৰৰ লগত হৈ থাকে, যে ফাৰ্ষ্ট হৈ আহে, ষ্টেণ্ড কৰি আহে, ইয়াত আহি চাই যে 70-75% পোৱা ল'ৰা এটাই বা ছোৱালী এজনীয়ে মোতকে সোনকালে পাৰি আছে, এণ্ড দে আৰ নট এবল টু একচেপ্ট ইট, দে আৰ নট এবল টু এম্ব্ৰেচ দ্য ফেক্ট, এণ্ড দে কিপ having this conflict inside where they are not
Right.
accepting it and not going
Right.
ahead of it. So please
Right.
tell something about that.
Right. So, yeah, that's a, I think that's a great conversation point. So, I don't know if you guys know Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's a very famous astrophysicist. He keeps talking about these two truths, right? Objective truth and relative truth. So, so there are two goals, two kinds of failures that come along with those goals, right? The relative goals and relative truths, which are like, say you're comparing yourself to someone. You got like 90% somewhere, and somebody got like 90% is good if everybody else got less than 90%, because then you are the first. 90% is very bad because everybody else kind of got more than 90%, right? Then you are the last. So that's one thing, and that can feel like a failure, but that's not really a failure, because you should only be concerned about the failures which affect really you and your goals. Like if you have a goal that you want to get somewhere, just because you beat everyone in your classroom doesn't mean that you are closer to the goal, right? So your goals challenges might be completely different. So if you want to be or something, your challenges is completely different. If you excel in the, you're taking good photos as compared to everybody else in your class, but there might be other people that you need to think about. So only be concerned about the failures which take you back from your goal. So that's very important. All of those noise, and you'll find out like those failures are very less, and most of the failures that feel like failure, that constitute like I think 90% of the things, are the ones that you perceive as failures because you think that you're not good enough as compared to everybody you have seen, right? You're probably already better than many people that you don't see, and even if you're the first one in your class, even if like someone stand korilo, when I came out of Assam, I very quickly understood that I was not the best even first inside Assam, right? Like it's very quick, and there are like so many people, there are so many other things out there that will make you realize that you are not the best. So there's no absolute truth about who's better, who you were. I think it's all about your goal. Say if you have a goal of becoming something, say you want to be like, I don't know, physicist or something, then stick to your goal and think about that one thing. Recently, I read a book called The One Thing. I can probably share that link up there. It's one of the best books that I have read so far. And the writer talks about how you should be focused on just one thing. It's the Pareto 80-20 principle, right? Where 80% in life contribute like 20% of the outcomes, and 20% of the things you do contributes to 80% of the outcomes. So just be very focused on the 20% that you need to do, and don't keep just keep track of that. And if you fail, the failure will actually not feel so bad if you're very focused on that. Then at that point, you'll feel it like an experience. Like, yeah, I did this. This is not very easy. It's very easy to say in theory, I understand. But it does become easier over the time if you start ignoring all the noises that comes from the feeling about getting a failure. So just focus on that thing and you'll feel happy. Like you fail, you wanted to do something, you wanted to be one step closer to your goal, but you fail. It's fine. You're still on the same stage like before, and you can just again keep trying. But I think that's the key that I have found success over the years in that, yeah, just being very focused on what I really want. I keep trying to, talk to this to all of my friends also, like keep complaining about like, hey, this happened, you bought something and somebody else bought or something, and it just doesn't make any sense because it doesn't change your thing, right? What you bought is still with you. Nobody has taken it from you. So
Yes,
it's the same thing. Like
true that.
if you are the first in your class and you're still the first in your class because you're going to a new class and there's somebody better than you, and that's fine. And you just think about what you want to do, and if you want to be that person, if that's what your goal is, then that's fine too. I mean, then work towards it. Try to understand how what is the gap between him and you, and then you can probably work towards that too. I think that's the best advice I think I can give at this point. Is just separate out the
Lovely, lovely,
noise of
lovely.
all the bad feelings that you have, and just focus on your failures that comes along the way of your goal chasing, I guess.
Okay, that is so wonderful. Himanshu, one more very important question that I wanted to ask you is that you know me, I always talk about pursuing your interests and that there is no set convention, engineer hobo laibo, doctor hobo laibo, enuka kono kotha nai, right? But then a lot of students are there, a lot of young people are there who struggle to differentiate between a prospect career interest and a hobby, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like somebody's preparing for his IITs and he likes playing the guitar, and he somehow is made to believe that my life is in music, but he might not have a life in music actually. So how at this stage, these are young kids, right? You, me, we are sitting at a different mental stage, and we have seen different
Right,
things, we've come through at different times. These are the smartphone times. Like, I don't
right,
know at what age you had your first mobile phone. I had my first mobile phone when I was 19. So these days, kids of class 5 are having smartphones in their hands, and there is a lot of noise which can
right,
be harmful as well, and it's very easy to get lost.
right,
And this digitally exposed kids and all, so they
right,
see a lot of people making YouTube videos and earning in
right,
millions. They see a lot of people becoming crypto millionaires, and they see overnight successes, and it's very easy to get attracted to overnight success,
right,
and very easy to get repelled of hard grinding success, right? We
right,
try and promote hard grinds, and then
right.
somebody is showing overnight success over YouTube, and it's very easy for
Yeah,
a 16-17-year-old to get distracted away from the hard
right,
grind and choose the
right.
shortcut. So how do students and even non-students who professionals, how do they differentiate ki hobby kuntu hobo lage, career
Yeah,
interest kuntu hobo lage, and how to not
yeah,
mix it up?
right. Yes, I think before going to that, এটা কথা মই ক'বলৈ বিচাৰো যে there are no shortcuts, there's no overnight success. It just looks that way, right? First of all, I think every success story that we see, and specifically in the influencer space, right? Because I work for Amazon influencers myself, I know like the other side of the story also, and it's a lot of work. First of all, it's a full-time job, and it's a very dedicated thing that they have, and there might be a very small majority of people, maybe minority people who might be so talented that overnight they become stars, but it's
The
very
viral
hard to
successes.
actually become that. Yeah, and those are like one of success, and the algorithms of YouTube and Instagram have changed over the years, right? Initially, it used to be based on subscribe and stuff like that. But now I think they have opened it up to everyone. So if you upload a video that has good potential, it has a potential to reach all the users of Facebook or Instagram. So you might have like one viral video, but you will not have an identity of your own. Like nobody will know who the YouTuber is. They'll just know the short video that they created. Like they will be very famous. It's like the Money song, right? No one knows the
Yes.
singer, but
Yes.
everybody knows
Nobody
the song,
knows the
right?
singer.
And
Yes.
I don't think that's success. That's very deceiving. That's not success, first of all, right? And even for that, they have gone through probably preparations and everything. So everybody, so don't assume that somebody just went million over the years over the overnight. And it's same for cryptocurrency also. Like people who actually do business in cryptocurrency, they do a lot of thinking over that. Like for example, like there are a lot of Bitcoin millionaires now, and I remember I was in school, Bitcoin was like, I don't know, some cents, and we used to laugh about it. Like I installed a mining program back in
I remember I remember
2017.
getting I yeah, I remember getting Bitcoin online for free for solving questions and taking surveys. You
And
take
you
this
probably
survey and you
didn't
would
do.
get half a Bitcoin. No, we didn't. We still
Right,
didn't.
right, right. That's the difference. So there might be some people who actually took that leap at that point, and that's their success. So that's the effort that they put in. They had the and all those kind of things. So the different stories for different people, right? So they might have an overnight success. It's actually not overnight success. It's a success over so many years that he had that knowledge like before everybody else had. It's the same thing with all the big inventors and big like Jeff Bezos and everybody else. Like they could think about things that what that it's gonna be big after 20 years, and that's a big thing. And you have to be successful for that. So yeah, don't think about how people are getting successful overnight. Just think about what is important for you first of all, and the thing is how to take out the noise. I think the noise, one thing I try to do at least in my life, because I'm also interested in so many different things, right? I'm interested in guitars, I'm interested in music, I'm interested in photography now recently. And how do I try to differentiate between my passion and profession? I think is it can be different for everyone, I guess, but for me it's like I try to find meaning in it, and I try to see if that has meaning over long term. Like, is it sustainable? Say I switch to a complete full photographer or full time and leave my job and my research and everything, and will I be actually happy and successful in the next 20 years? And if that's where I want to see myself, like it's very easy to think about now as a 30-year-old, like I'm a this guy, that guy, but think about what you want to be your identity when you're 50 years old, because life's going to be completely different at that point. And if you think that at that point you want to be like a rock star rocking in a stage and playing guitar, and yeah, that's the thing you should do, right? You should go and chase that, because it's probably going to take 20 years for you to get there. But if you see yourself being like, I don't know, an executive in somewhere, say for example, if I see myself as a director or something in a company, then I will stick to the track that I'm in, right? Or maybe even give it a little bit more effort on something similar. So I think that's how I try to decide. Like, it's very easy to get. I probably also have views in some videos a lot, but that doesn't mean that I am automatically a YouTuber. I think it's a problem many of the current YouTubers are also facing. Like, what is the goal, right? I have heard about people saying, when I'm 50 years old, I see myself and in blogging them all, and that's probably not the thing that even they want. So they're also thinking of like what are the different other ways of doing it. So yeah, you should think about like where do you want to get it. It's very easy to say, it's a very typical templated thing that I'm saying probably, but it works actually. Just think about yourself as a 50-year-old person. What do you see, and if that matches, then I
Wonderful,
think
wonderful answer, Himangshu.
that's way to go.
The last question of the evening uh, is that while we goal set life after your coaching, life after your college, while we set goals for a student, for a professional, being very real, being very practical, for somebody who is from Assam and not necessarily born into luxury and opulence, how important is money? How much of a role does money play in taking or setting life goals? Keeping in mind that we are talking about people going from here, okay, who are not necessarily born into opulence, how much weightage does money making have in your goal setting process?
I see, you're saying money making. Okay, I was thinking like
Yeah,
how
yeah,
much money is necessary for you to get there. So there are two things, right? So how
yeah.
much money is needed is also a question, because certainly money is kind of cool, right? It's not something that you should be chasing after, but that's definitely the tool that you need to do the things that you want to do, right? So that's the problem with money. And yeah, certainly, I mean, if you want to get somewhere, definitely there will be one component for financial benefit, because that's how you keep running. Like, it's not even financial, whatever benefit you need to do the things that you want to do. Say if you are a photographer today, you want to be like, I don't know, an Olympic photographer after 10 years, right? And then you will have to think, what do you need at that point to be there? And that's the minimum amount of financial thing that you have to actually earn for to get there. Say you need a big camera and big lens, and although you have to actually get there, and you probably will have to get some trainings to get that. And that much, I think, motivation you have to have so that you can get there. I think that's the bare minimum. And on top of that, I think it's very subjective. I mean, even within same family, I've seen. I think financial aspirations are very different from people. Some people are fully motivated by money and money only, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. No matter whoever says that, because it depends, right? If materialistic things give you happiness, then you should probably do it. Just be very honest with yourself. There's nothing bad in it, I guess. Because unless you're doing anything illegal or you're hurting someone, I think it's fine. If you have money, if you want to earn
It's
money and
okay.
you want to spend it, if you want to spend it on cars and expensive things, then that's fine. Nobody's gonna tell you anything. Just don't hurt anyone or be very proud or jealous about it. But yeah, I think it's a very personal thing. I can't comment on how much weightage it should have. What I'm trying to say is, yeah, think about where you want to get, and to get there, whatever financial help you need, that will be the minimum that you have to get. On top of that, it's your own choice to make a lot of money. Then yeah, sure, go ahead. There's nothing wrong in it.
Great answer, Himanshu. If some of our viewers and some of our students want to communicate with you regarding some guidance, maybe some of our students who are already in colleges and want to pursue
Right.
lines similar to what you did,
Okay.
we are okay to share your, I think, Facebook or Instagram ID, so that they can
Right.
write to you.
Right. Right. Definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, in the description of this whole stream, we will put up Himanshu's contacts, email or Instagram or Facebook. And our viewers, if you feel that you need to know something, because we have limited time, we have to end very soon. So if you want to talk to him, if you want to know something about the path he chose, or if you need some guidance, seek some guidance, so yeah, you can feel free to write to him, and I'm sure he will be very positive in helping you out as much as he can. And it was so good, Himanshu. It was so nice, and I'm so proud of you after listening to you talk. And I think
Thanks.
I can have a good night's sleep, and that I feel that okay, I have taught you well for the little time I got. It's not about the physics, it's not about the maths, but the values that reflects from the way you talk and your thought process. I think I've done a good job, and you really
Perfect.
make us proud. And thank you again so much. And grow more, rise more, and yeah, do what makes you happy.
Yep. Thanks, Abhijit. Thanks once again for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Have a
so
good
much.
night. Good night,
Okay,
everyone.
so that will be curtains. Yeah, good night, everyone, and a good day to
Yeah.
you.